Most gardeners buy seed starting mix every single year without questioning it. They walk into the store, they grab a bag labeled seed starting mix. They pay 8, 10, sometimes $15, and they assume that's just part of gardening. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Seed starting mix is mostly air. You're paying premium prices for ingredients that cost almost nothing to produce. Peat moss or coco coir, perlite or vermiculite, maybe a small amount of compost. That's it. There's nothing special hiding in those bags. No secret formula, no advanced technology, just cheap materials sold at a high markup. And the worst part is, you do it every single spring. Same purchase, same expense, same dependency. Today, I'm going to show you why buying seed starting mix year after year is unnecessary, why it quietly causes more seedling problems than most people realize, and how to make a simple DIY blend that works just as well or better for a fraction of the cost. Once you understand what seed starting mix is actually supposed to do, you'll never look at those bags the same way again. What seed starting mix is really for? Seed starting mix is not soil, it's not fertilizer, and it's not compost. It's a temporary growing medium designed to create ideal conditions for germination and early root development. That's all. In the first few weeks of life, a seedling doesn't need rich nutrition. Everything it needs to sprout and begin growing is stored inside the seed. What the seedling needs from its environment is moisture that's consistent, oxygen around the roots, and a structure that allows roots to grow freely without resistance. Seed starting mix exists to provide that balance. Not to feed plants, not to make them grow fast, just to give roots a clean, breathable space to establish. And that's important, because root structure in the first few weeks determines how that plant behaves for the rest of its life. Why store-bought mix costs so much? Let's talk about what you're actually paying for. A standard bag of seed starting mix is around 16 quarts and costs $8 to $15. That works out to roughly 50 cents to $1 per quart. Now compare that to the ingredients themselves. A compressed bale of peat moss costs around $10 to $15 and expands to over 200 quarts. That's just a few cents per quart. Perlite costs around $20 for a large bag that yields about 100 quarts. Vermiculite costs roughly the same. If you buy ingredients in bulk, you can make seed starting mix for 10 to 15 cents per quart. Sometimes even less. The price difference isn't quality. It's packaging, branding, shipping, and retail markup. You're paying for convenience and marketing, not performance. And because you buy it every year, that markup compounds. The problem most people don't notice: inconsistency. Here's a problem that causes more seedling failures than most people realize. Bagged seed starting mix is inconsistent. Even within the same brand, texture and moisture behavior can vary from batch to batch, depending on how dry it became during storage, how long it sat in a warehouse, or what materials were available when it was produced. That's why one year your seedlings thrive, and the next year they struggle, even though you swear you did everything the same. Same seeds, same lights, same watering schedule. The variable wasn't you. It was the mix. When you make your own, you remove that uncertainty entirely. Every batch behaves the same way. Water drains the same way. Roots grow the same way. Germination timing becomes predictable, and predictable systems are easier to manage than mystery ones. The simple DIY blend that actually works. Here's the recipe. And it really is this simple. 1 part peat moss or coco coir. 1 part perlite or vermiculite. 1 part finished compost. That's it. The peat moss or coir holds moisture evenly and provides structure. The perlite or vermiculite creates air pockets and prevents compaction. The compost adds beneficial microbes and a very small amount of slow-release nutrition, just enough to support early growth without overwhelming the seedling. No fertilizer, no boosters, no additives. Simple works better here. Why each ingredient matters. Peat moss and coco coir form the base. Both are lightweight, hold moisture well, and resist compaction. Coco coir is more sustainable and neutral in pH, while peat moss is often cheaper and slightly acidic. Either works fine. Perlite and vermiculite control air and water movement. Perlite drains faster and is better if you tend to overwater. Vermiculite holds more moisture and works better in drier environments or for gardeners who forget to water. Compost improves structure and introduces biology, but only if it's fully finished. Fresh or partially broken down compost can cause problems. If you're unsure about your compost quality, skip it. The mix still works with just peat and perlite. How to mix it correctly. Hydrate the peat moss or coco coir before mixing. Dry peat repels water and causes uneven moisture later. Once it's evenly damp, add equal parts perlite or vermiculite and compost. Mix thoroughly until the texture is uniform. The finished mix should hold together briefly when squeezed, then fall apart easily. That texture matters more than precise measurements. You're building structure, not following a chemistry formula. Why root development matters more than fast growth. This is where most gardeners unknowingly sabotage their plants. Seedlings grown in dense or overly wet mixes develop shallow, sideways root systems. Above the soil, they look fine, but once transplanted, they stall, they wilt. They sit still for weeks. Gardeners blame transplant shock, bad timing, or weather. The real problem is that the roots never learn to search downward. A properly balanced mix creates mild resistance early. Roots learn how to navigate space, manage moisture changes, and grow with intention. That early behavior doesn't disappear. It carries forward into the garden. Plants with strong early root habits establish faster, handle stress better, and resume growth quickly after transplanting. What not to use. Potting soil is too heavy. Garden soil is too dense and often contaminated. Both increase the risk of damping off, weak roots, and slow establishment. Seed starting mix needs to be light, airy, and consistent. Substitutes almost always cause problems later. How to use your DIY mix. Fill trays loosely, don't pack it down. Compaction defeats the entire purpose. Plant seeds at the correct depth. Water gently, preferably from the bottom, or with a spray bottle to avoid displacing seeds. Once true leaves form, feed lightly if needed. Quarter-strength liquid fertilizer once per week is more than enough. More fertilizer at this stage usually creates weak growth, not stronger plants. The long-term cost. Nobody talks about. If you spend $20 a year on bagged seed starting mix, that's $200 over 10 years, and that's conservative. Bulk ingredients might cost $40 to $50 up front, but they last for years. After the first season, your cost per year drops dramatically. This is the same pattern you see everywhere in gardening. Compost replaces fertilizer. Seed saving replaces buying transplants. Perennials replace annual dependency. Stop paying repeatedly for the same outcome. What to do this week? If you start seeds every year, stop buying bagged seed starting mix. Buy peat moss or coco coir. Buy perlite or vermiculite. Use finished compost if you have it. Mix equal parts, store the rest. Use it this season and the next. Seed starting mix isn't complicated. It's just been over-marketed. Stop buying what you can make. Start mixing your own.